specifically so that I can pronounce it Havana the way it was originally intended to be pronounced.
Well, we might get to that, but we're not quite there yet. Oasis is going to be our first map. And I mean, what are you expecting from this? I mean, we already talked about this is probably going to be a DPS heavy map, but do you think we might see any surprises from the meta, some breakaways, or do you think it's going to be kind of what we've seen so far in pro play?
First map out of the gate, I don't think we're going to see anything too flashy. I think we might start seeing that after the second map when teams, either Bench Boys or Crusaders, get a little bit more comfortable. But I'd like to see them come out with some sticker shock. I want to see the Symmetra teleporting the Bastion. I want to see the Roadhog Zarya that everybody hates in ladder right now. I want to see the Ashe, the Pharah, all the big DPS plays, and then healer-wise, as long as there's an Ana, I'll be happy.
Yeah, you see the Ana Mercy and the support duo, but you're also seeing a little bit more of the Moira Lucio, that really enables, especially if you are running kind of that hybrid brawl comp, especially if you have a Reaper to kind of just run in, try to destroy them as quick as possible. You're not playing for that poke damage, you're just looking for that burst, immediate one shot to the head. But with the Ana, I can completely shut down the Roadhog, because if you're antied and, maybe even slept up, if the team can focus that Roadhog down, they're done. Unless they can maybe get a Zarya bubble, but, you got to be careful of how you use your resources when you run a comp like that.
Resource management is a huge deal, especially at this level that we're playing at. This is where the things like, you had 1 second left on that recall. Too bad. You had 1 second left on that breather. You had 0.5 seconds left on that Ananade. Those kind of crucial moments are really going to be coming into play as we get into this map. It looks like we're going to be hopping in right here in the next minute, so you don't have to wait for too much longer. But before we get into the match, please put in the chat who you think is going to be coming away with the win for this first map. And on the topic of who's coming away with the win, I believe you're over here to my left. Who do you think is going to come away with the win of the game?
I guess I'm going to try to look over. What am I looking at? This is the right way I'm looking at now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
We got it. I think that probably we're going to see the Bench Boys come away with this, because even though they are running a ringer, they've just been so dominant so far. I really don't see anything stopping them, but I love rooting for the underdog. I think Crusaders still, have a lot of good chances in this series. And I think, again, like just even taking a map off as we, barrel towards the playoffs, because there really aren't any stakes in this matchup. Bench Boys will retain their #1 seed no matter what happens because of their map differential. Crusaders are so ahead of the teams below them that no matter what, they'll retain the 3rd seed, I believe. So right now, it's really for pride as well as momentum.
Well, speaking of momentum, we're going to go ahead and get that momentum started and hop on into game. We are heading into Oasis now. Which point will it be first? You are going to be having, I believe we have Bench Boys on the blue and Crusaders in the red. Or do I have that wrong? Yes, Bench Boys in the blue, Crusaders in the red. Green and orange, sorry. Bench Boys in the green, Crusaders in the orange. As we come into our first map here on University.
Yeah, and
or not University.
Yeah, this is Gardens, I believe, but this is a great Pharah map, so I think we could see maybe some hybrid dive with that. You can also see an Echo, not as meta as she used to be when she first came out, but still a really high risk, high reward pick. If you can get those stickies and then use your E on them to melt them down, once they're at half damage, they just get melted away. It can happen, but looks like we're not going to see any of that from these initial lineups.
Nope, going with a pretty hardcore dive here. You see McNewbie and Astrio both on the Symmetra. You think that's just for that teleport out, or is that going to be a legitimate pick?
I believe it's probably just for the teleport out. They'll probably swap to either a Tracer or a Reaper, both heroes of a lot of mobilities as both teleporters come down, and now we're seeing the swaps come out. Yep, so Tracer, Sombra, basically the only difference we're seeing is the Ana versus the Moira and the Zarya versus the D.Va.
They're going to go ahead and get kicking it off here. Going to be big for that Sombra to be able to really efficiently get as they go to the top of the mountain here, or the high ground, if you will. Jonathan and Shinode not wasting any time, booping off a couple of these tanks as Florts and High Quality continue to bring in the kills for Crusaders. That's just about all she wrote here on the first point.
Yeah, a really quick first fight, and even though we saw the first boop come out from Bench Boys, they're able to take out the Winston. It didn't matter. The other boop coming out, and that's all they needed to kind of roll that point forward. Crusaders now at 9 points and ticking, and they almost have the pulse bomb online. So if they can get a quick pulse bomb here, that might be the end of the second fight before it even started.
Oh, Misfit's already 50% up to that nano as well. Lord's working on that pulse bomb that you were talking about, and like you said, if he can sneak that in, it's going to be a really big start here. Very tentatively pushing. Looks like the pulse bomb is going to get spent, but it's not going to find itself any kills right away. Blackman able to find himself a good bubble from Hawk to keep himself and the rest of his team alive. Both teams continuing to play the pig battle as Blackman goes into the back line, helps Hawk find Clutch Caliber, and that's going to be a good start to a double kill for Hawk. Now in a 4v6, Crusaders in a tight spot. Hawk continuing to prove that Zarya is king in this meta. And that's going to be it for Crusaders. Bench Boys will take back the point in confidence.
Yeah, and 2 ults used by Crusaders not going to find any value. Both ults that charge pretty quickly, so Plorts and Yuri probably not going to be too sad that they use them. They do have the bomb online, but now ults have been built up on the side of Bench Boys. Almost have the grab, they do have the primal, they have the beat, which would be huge to counter a bomb if it was thrown in a good place. But we're going to see if they can get that bomb off. Right now, just doing a slow engage right now as their Winston kind of rotates outside the point.
Oh, there goes a lot of damage. There's the earlier Zarya bubble as well as the Graviton coming out there from Hawk. The damage is there, but the healing is better. Pit Pat finds the first kill onto Chinote, and now without the Lucio, 94% to the sound barrier when he got taken out. Chinote not able to bail out his team as the damage comes from on high. Hawk and Astergo able to find the first 2 kills in that engagement, and it's really just a Tracer's buffet right now as they try and rush back to spawn.
That was a really interesting beat by Jonathan. I think they were worried about someone falling as they tried to push aggressively, but now they have no counter for McNewbie's EMP, so that could be huge. As you said, Chinote didn't get the beat just yet, but now they have it for an aggressive push of their own. They do have it to counter Pit Pat's EMP if they can hide.
Well, there goes the EMP right off the bat. It's going to find 3 of the Crusaders, as well as EMP on the Bench Boys finding 3 itself. Health bars for the Bench Boys getting mighty low as Pit Pat bites the dust. Jonathan still hanging on to a bit of life as High Quality finds 3! What a play! That's what the Crusaders need here and now in this moment as Blackman gets taken out as well, and High Quality really living up to that namesake.
Well, absolutely. That was a high-quality bomb. You took the, meme right out of my mouth, and just kind of how I called it. They were able to hide Chinote, so the EMP that came out from Pippat didn't get as much value. The counter EMP was bigger. Pippat now hacked, may end up giving their life early in this fight, but gonna live. They do have the bomb and nano on the side of Bench Boys as the ticking is coming very close. Now gonna be 78-78 very soon. This might be final fight territory for both these teams.
Final fight territory will be the Pulse Bomb Nano or the Pulse Bomb Coalescence that comes out on top as the Crusaders taking quite a defensive position. There goes the self-destruct into the back line. It's going to open up a kill for Plorts onto Pit Pat, and the DPS go. Estergo almost getting out of that, but the Coalescence from Crusaders saving the day and the Pulse Bomb.
Absolutely. Now there's only 4 seconds left. I don't think anyone's gonna really touch this. I think this is gonna go to Crusaders right here, right now, as they take the first round of Oasis. And I think the comp they're running is just a little bit better. They can get a little bit more aggressive with that Moira. The Ana has to sit a little bit more in the back, and Misfits antis just haven't been as big as they need to be really to be running that Ana.
Well, here's the thing. If it doesn't work, you gotta change it up. That's been a very stern point of view from myself for forever in Overwatch. So I'm happy to see Bench Boys taking Blackman off of that Winston and putting him onto the Roadhog.
Yeah, absolutely. And this could be the better comp for them if you can really enable your Hog, especially if you're seeing this die that's still coming out. They're basically running the exact same comp on the side of Crusaders, so a little bit of a swapping on the side of Bench Boys might be what they need to be able to even this map up. They have the Mercy Pocket as well, probably going to be on their Widow.
Bit of a gutsy choice to bring the Widow into the mix here. Hopefully Astergo, though, can turn up the heat, I should say. Trying to pepper in shots from the outside, but getting stopped by the Winston bubble. We'll be able to help Blackman out as he gets bullied into this little room, and it's going to be Hawk bailing him out, but High Quality finding that first kill. Herbert on the Moira, able to getting taken out by Astergo in the last minute there with a beautiful headshot, and now in a 5v5, Bench Boys and Crusaders are on even keel to fight for the point. Big pick coming out from Blackman as he nails the headshot onto Clutch Caliber with the support of Jonathan. Bench Boys will be able to take the point as long as they can deal with this pesky D.Va and Lucio. Oh, there it is. 1 kill down, baby D.Va left. And the point will go to Bench Boys.
Yeah, it looks like Moira might be able to contest. Moira and Sombra are going to contest very briefly. They still have the Tracer, but doesn't look like Plortz is going to even bother. They did get 19% out of a losing fight, so not a bad way to start. However, they could have had a lot more percentage on the point. Once their Moira was taken out, they all kind of backed up, even though they already had half of the point covered at that point. Still not bad, but right now we're going to see Bench Boys even it up, probably going to overtake it. Misfit and Blackman have their ults, but Blackman's going to be hacked up.
Ooh, and a hacked Hog is a Hog in trouble, but he gets the bubble from Hawk. There's the Graviton, the whole Hog, because he's angry. He finds two. He gets the DMAC and the high quality as well. And man, Bench Boys are really starting to drive it home. They may have taken a while to warm up, but now they're going.
That's the fourth ult they've used now in the last 20 seconds, so they do have the EMP to use. Shinoda doesn't have the beat yet, but look at the ulting that's being built up for Crusaders. They're going to have 6 ults online by the time that this Widow ult probably comes to its end, or at least very close to it, so they're at a huge advantage here. The question is, can they use their ults first before the EMP is used, or will they try to save them for the next fight and take a dry fight here?
Crusaders with the power. Blackman trying to deal with this pesky Winston. Not able to do so, though, with the hack going on to him. 30 health, 4 health. He's out of the bat. Garbert able to find that kill. Now going into the Primal Rage, Clutch Caliber trying to live up to his own namesake this round as high quality continues to get consistent kills and damage for the Crusaders. The Bench Boys in a very tricky spot, but Hawk looking to bail them out as Clutch and McNewbie both find themselves a couple of kills. It's really stalling, and that is the name of the game at this point for the Bench Boys, as they're at 78% to the point. McNewbie continuing to get kills, and that'll be it for the contest. Point will go to Crusaders.
And I was just talking about how the Bench Boys used a bunch of ults, but Crusaders were like, nah, we're gonna up this one up. They used 5 ults in that fight, but McNewbie again started that fight off of an EMP, almost has it again, almost at 69%, gonna get 70. Shinoda does have the beat. Pipette did not use their ult, so this beat is really gonna be important. Shinoda has to hide, has to not get hacked out for Crusaders to have any chance of winning this point now, as already Crusaders at 83% on this point, or Bench Boys at 83%.
Win condition now online. Hawk has the Graviton. Graviton goes out. Pit Pat looking for the EMP, able to nail the... Oh no! McNewbie gets the EMP onto the Bench Boys. He finds 5 and opens it up for Plortz, who now has the Pulse Bomb to change the name of the game. Clutch Caliber now looking for the kill onto the backline, into the Mercy, able to find the Widowmaker, however. And Clutch Caliber is able to help the Crusaders push this for just a little bit longer. They will be able to push this back, but Bench Boys have so many ultimates coming into this next fight.
Yeah, and again, Shinoda, the lone ult. They will have Moira ult as well as the Primal very soon. They use the sites early so they know where the enemy Sombra is. McNewbie gonna be caught out a little bit right now as Pipette is running around the point, probably looking for the perfect EMP point. They have a DMAC Diva too, that could be huge.
Oh, speaking of huge, Blackman gets a big hook onto Clutch Caliber, pulling him into his team and annihilating his HP bar.
The bomb, though!
Continuing, oh, the double kill from High Quality. Opens it up for McNewbie to get another kill onto Blackman. And now in a 3v5 on the point, Crusaders have the chance to bring this home. Now we're in overtime. The respawns are different. Hawk, a high charge Zarya needs to be dealt with here. And McNewbie's gonna be the one to do it. Hits the EMP and finds nothing. However, that's going to be a different story for Pit Pat, who finds the entire team of Crusaders. And now the respawns are in for Bench Boys. It's just Blackman and Jonathan on the point. They're trying to fight, get a couple of picks, and wait for the respawns to come back. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. The kills are there, and that's going to be it. Crusaders takes the first map off of Bench Boys this season.
You know, I'm eating my words a little bit here, but honestly, it's so exciting to see the underdog rise up. And I think that they got about 3 EMPs off in the same span that Bench Boys only got 1. So, you know, it's great to play patient and really hope that that winning ult is what all you need. But when you're holding on for it for so long, it's just not going to get the value as the enemy team is just cycling their ults over and over and over again. And Crusader is just playing aggressive, and it's working. And like you said, taking the first map off of Bench Boys, the first one that Bench Boys have lost this entire season.
And, you know, that's big. That's a power play. You're coming into this next map, whether it be Dorado, Havana, or Gibraltar. You're coming into it with confidence. Yeah. That being said, Bench Boys, late in the season, doesn't really matter if you win or lose. You're not playing with the main tank. You got a ringer in. I feel like they may have a couple of excuses, but we won't hear those. You just got outplayed. Up your game for the next map. Speaking of the next map, Jag, what do you think the Bench Boys are going to do?
I don't know, honestly. If they want to run that Hog Zarya, I still think that looking at the maps, Dorado is the best choice. I could definitely see Havana being an option as well. I think Gibraltar is probably the one they don't want to run if they're going to be not wanting to run that dive. But honestly, they didn't look too bad on the first point of Oasis. I think just a few misplays again. Maybe just ults not being used quick enough. I think we saw that especially on that second point of Oasis. You know, they held on to things a little bit too long. But, you know, it's got to be a bit of a bummer to be picking the map for the first time after losing a map, because, you know, they've picked as the home team, but they've never picked as the losing team in a series before. So I've got to think that has to demotivate them a little bit, but they can still play for that win. They're only one map down right now. They've got to keep that energy up, hope that they can persevere despite having a ringer.
Well, it looks like the bench boys are going to be trying to get into my good favor as they go to our next map, Havana. For you kids at home, that's how it's pronounced, Havana. It's the official pronunciation of this map. But the Crusaders are going to be coming into this, and they had a really solid dive composition, which is really good for that first point of Havana. It's very difficult to get through that courtyard sometimes for a lot of teams.
Yeah, you know, I think especially on that first point, it's really interesting because sometimes you got the defense that plays super up close. And really there, you're not even trying to win the fight. You're just trying to kill time off the clock. And you kill at least a minute, usually just stalling it out right on that point. But if you don't contest right away and you play that corner, it can become very dire. Some teams get a little bit too shaky and don't know when to be on point, and then they lose, you know, the first pick, and they just keep backing up, and they just get rolled that first point. Basically, give it away for free. So you got to be really careful about what you're going to do on defense. Don't want to play too aggro, but don't want to play too scared either.
Very true. I think that Havana is kind of one of the few maps where that first point doesn't really have a defined choke. You know, you have that little turn there at the corner that you're talking about. But even if you do defend to that corner, you have flanks on both the right and the left that aren't necessarily too difficult for DPS that are currently in the meta to get around.
I completely agree with you. I think really that first choke point is at second point cap, you know, when the doors open as you go into that factory. And, you know, when you only have corners to play around, it can become very dire, especially if you're a more stationary hero. You know, if they're running the Tracer, which we saw a lot of on the last map, if you're someone like an Ana who has your sleep and your anti, but that's about it, you can get kind of one clip pretty easily, especially if your team isn't able to help you out. So you got to be really careful about what you're running, especially on the defense. On offense, you know, it's not a big of a deal because usually you're not going to be pressured as much if you're playing around the cart, but that defensive positioning is so important. And if you start really hot on that first point on attack, you can kind of roll that through the rest of the map.
You can. And that second point, not really a defined choke, except for that one bridge at mid. And if you take that late fight on that first point, sometimes you don't even have the spawns to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. The question is, do you throw people kind of over the top? You know, a lot of people play in that little hidey hole right above where the first point cap is, and then they jump out at the last second. Sometimes you can mistime it, and then you just throw yourself onto the coin as cap. And at the point, it's like, well, do we just fight it out here, or do we die quickly? Like, it can become very chaotic very quickly. So you really have to have good communication. And, you know, if you're bench boys and you're playing with a ringer, we talked about, you know, the main tank usually is that in-game leader. So maybe they're in a bit of a disarray because they don't have that same leadership voice. I don't know their comm structure. So kind of just talking smoke right now. Could be someone else, could be a support player. But just from what we saw a little bit on Oasis, looks a little bit all over the place, which sometimes works depending on how much your DPS can do in terms of damage. And sometimes you're just feeding.
You know what? I feel like when I play Overwatch, it's usually the latter. I feel like there's a lot of hungry players out there, and you know, I really do enjoy providing a good meal for people. So that's my excuse for my games. If you ever see me in your ladder games, I do apologize. I'm not throwing. I'm just bad. But we are gonna go ahead and hop on into Havana as we continue this crusade, if you will.
Yeah. And,
yeah, I did it.
We're going to wait to see what these teams are running, but I would not be surprised if we saw more Hog Zarya. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw, honestly, similar comps that we saw in Oasis. Teams still trying to figure out this meta as they play through it. No really defined correct heroes to play, just a lot of really personal picks, I would say. There's a lot of good heroes, but not anything that's, you know, 100% we need to play this right now. But we're going to see, first look at these comps, and oh boy, a Sigma Hog would be something.
A Sigma Hog would be something indeed. In fact, are we getting a Sigma Reinhardt from our attackers?
Yeah,
They
it
often
looks
meme,
like it.
but
Yeah, could be a meme, but you know, double shield, although it has been nerfed into the ground, if you're gonna run it, this is definitely the best way to do it. But about the Lucio, a Ryan pick can be pretty tricky because you really don't have that speed to close the distance.
yeah, that's what I was going to point out was the fact that they didn't have Lucio, so I'm glad that you did it. But hey, they both got honest, so I am happy about that. You have to think that maybe they're going to play a little bit closer around Misfit, kind of hug that Ana a little bit.
Yeah, we are gonna see Pit Pat start off at an off angle, probably looking to dive into that backline. We're gonna see again the Widow come out. Didn't work out so well on Oasis, but I would say this map does have better sightlines, so could be pretty dominant if they can break those shields. But there are 2 shields to break.
You gotta make sure you're getting through those barriers if you're gonna be trying to get those headshots. Right now, it's really just free real estate for the Crusaders. This Paper Monk just holds up his shield and walks down the lane. Does find Hawk out there. Gonna see if Hawk's gonna be able to live up to Blackman's name on that Roadhog. Hawk able to find the first kill onto McNewbie, is able to get a pretty good hook. That's gonna push Crusaders into a bit of an awkward position, as it looks like their DPS are kind of split off to the side here, and now being gate capped.
Pit Pat is gonna put pressure, and Hawk's gonna put some pressure on there too, and that is another player falling. So that's gonna be probably a soft reset. Right now, Paper Monk just getting their shield kind of wrecked right now, but the Ash Dynamite is gonna come out, and now we're gonna see swaps come out. Clutch Caliber gonna be on the Monkey, gonna try to dive that high ground, force that Widow into a comfortable position. But with the Mercy Pocket, probably isn't gonna be as much risk, but if they can push this point and get them off that high ground, this will look good for Crusaders. But right now, it looks like Bench Boys kind of have this defense on lock.
Yeah, Crusaders really just need to crack the glass here. It is an emergency. You gotta get past this corner, and you gotta get into Astergo. Wow, the hook came through, but a perfect Zarya bubble from Paper Monk is gonna keep Clutch Caliber alive and in the fight long enough for McNewbie and Plorts to find the kills they need. No DPS left for Bench Boys. Now it's up to the main tank, the off tank, and a couple of supports to stop this payload. They're gonna have to back out, though, in a bit of a soft disengage.
Yeah, and they definitely have time to re-engage, but if anyone falls here, it's gonna be very bad for them. You see the Tracer just kind of wing around the corner, but the sights are gonna come out, so it looks like Astrigo and everyone else is gonna know. And here's the Nano.
Ooh. The Nano goes on to the Hog there, I think it did. But Plort's able to find 2 with that ball, but Astergo not relenting here, trying to get the cheeky shots onto Mercy's heels underneath the cart, but not able to do so, and it has to get kind of pressured down there by Plort's towards the end. Clutch is able to find the kill onto Blackman, and as far as bodies go, they've got what they need to take this first point.
Yep, that is gonna be the cap. There's so many ults being thrown around, and you know, that Bob from Plorts, I think, really was the game winner on the side of Crusaders. That Bob, I think, got 3, maybe 4 kills in that fight. So many ults used by Bench Boys, but not able to find the same value. All they have now is Pit Pat's pulse bomb, but Blackman not too far behind from a Grav Flux. You gotta wonder if they're gonna swap off the Sigma sometime soon, because Hawk right now is just getting antied up the wazoo. Gerbert really hitting them very well and forcing Hawk to play much more defensively.
Well, looks like they're going to go ahead and take the high ground in their defense. The main tank's being very far away from the rest of the DPS, and it's going to work out. Clutch not able to find the kill, gets CC'd as he engages onto the main tanks of Bench Boys. And that's going to make Crusaders down a main tank here. Good hook comes through onto the Zarya, then hit with the rock, and then destroyed by Blackman and his cohort Hawk. That's going to be a pretty easy defense there for Bench Boys. Crusaders back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and I mean, the good news is that you didn't really use anything, but once your Monkey falls, it's kind of the end. But that's a huge pick. The res will come through, but this might be the go button right now for Crusaders.
From here on out for Bench Boys, any loss taken is a forever loss. Very aggressive Clutch Caliber once again trying to get in, but it seems like the Bench Boys have figured out how to stop this Winston from getting any value from these attacks.
McNewbie is going to find one, but Hawk's going to even it up. So once again, we're going to see them be down 2 people now. As Astrigo finds another one, or Astrigo, my bad. But right now, it just looks like the Monkey's jumping in and isn't really able to find any help beyond the bubble. They really need to have someone up there to help them. Maybe the Mercy's just pocketing the Winston, gets off the Widow for a little bit, but the ult-bang right now for Bench Boys is very, very healthy.
It also looks like Blackman is extending his shield just far enough behind Clutch Caliber when he dives that I don't think Gerbert can get any real healing out onto him.
Yeah, you're cutting off that Ana heal. I mean, you can't shoot through the barrier, so it's a great play. But here's the Bob coming out right now.
Bob goes down below, trying to find the cheeky angle. Is able to hit the exact spot he needs. There's a bit of a Sigma shield there. Now the nano boosted clutch caliber into the mix. The gravitic flux being thrown out right now by Blackman to try and save his team. As Gerber gets the kill onto Pitpat, trying to get into the back line, but not able to get that. Paper Monk able to find the kill onto Hawk there, as Bench Boys are continuing to being pressured out of their comfort zone. Blackman trying to help with the kill onto Winston, but Paper Monk's going to take out Astergo and allow Ports to take Jonathan, and Bench Boys. Ooh, these players are having a rough time keeping the pace of the game in their favor as Crusaders continue to blaze through this map.
Yeah, but the point wasn't being contested at all by either team, so that objective, the cart went all the way back to basically where the second point starts. So even though that was a pretty decisive fight, they got no momentum on it.
They are going to be able to get around this corner, however. It would have been so much more advantageous if they had kept somebody on the cart. As only 60 seconds remain, Paper Monk getting the early grab onto the team as they come out of that first choke. It does look like Blackman's going to eat that Blizzard. That is not what you want to see, but McNewbie is able to take Blackman out of his mech, and Clutch is going to follow up with the kill. They need to silence this Widowmaker off in this hallway. They're going to do so with the nano boost right now. Onto the point for the contest. Pitpat has the nano, but is anti. Pychar Zarya trying to track him down. Paper Monk will be able to find that kill. And with 30 seconds remaining, Hawk, one of the last remaining members, it's just the main tanks here on the point, frozen, but still an issue on this Roadhog, able to self-heal and take so much damage for these respawns to get back. You see Pitpat almost making his way back to the payload. We'll be able to continue the stall for just a tad as they try to push this into overtime before letting them capture second point.
That was a really good defense by Bench Boys. Unfortunately, just didn't really have the momentum. Even though they ate the May ult, they weren't able to touch point. There was actually a really clutch wall that came out from McNewbie, I think, that basically stopped the tanks from getting there. So it was really just the Tracer on point for a long time. Even the Nano wasn't enough to keep the momentum on their side. But only a minute and 14 and counting right now for Crusaders. So this is really 2-fight territory at best, maybe 1-fight territory depending on how this goes. They do have some ults to spare. Both teams have some ults to use. So right now, I think the Bob, again, from Florence is going to be the winner.
Oh, Jag, this fight is heating up, man. Oh! Astergo with the headshot onto Gerbert, able to take him out of the fight very early on, and not very often you see an Ana playing that far ahead of her tanks.
Yeah, a bit of a misplay. The bobbing is not going to find anything, and now the Nano's coming out as both Winstons jump in.
Oh, Pitpat able to find the opening kill onto Shinote, and this should be a solid defense from here on out. Florence and Pitpat getting a bit of a trade, and Gerbert going down. No supports now for the Crusaders, but the payload is not being contested at all. It's continuing to move on and across the bridge the entire time that this fight is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just free real estate, as you said earlier. They still have the grab, and I think that might be the new fight winner. No ult right now on the side. Just Hawk is in a fall, but so is Paper Monk.
Not the loss you want, but Paper Monk comes back into the fight with that res. Jonathan going to be able to bring Hawk in as well. Both Zarya zero charge, but they're back in the fight. The Graviton goes out and finds Blackman. That's going to be just about it. He has the Mercy Pocket. He has the Nano Boost. He's got a bubble. He's got everything from everyone. He's looking for a couple of kills into the back line. Makers still trying to do their job. Florence now onto that headshot hero. Astergo, however, going to be the one finding the kills onto Shinote as Bench Boys continue to turn the tables in a surprising fashion. Pitpat and Blackman both able to take the kills that they need, and it looks like we might finally be seeing the Bench Boys we know and love.
Yeah, they had a very good defense on second point. Were able to hold on third, so no full cap for the side of Crusaders, but still a pretty solid push. Definitely nothing to be too sad about. Now they just need to have a better defense, and it really comes down to that first point. If they can have a good first point defense, they got a pretty good chance of taking this map and making this series 2-0, but Crusaders, you know, they want to get up in this series. Bench Boys want to even this up. The question is which team will come out on top. And if you're just joining us right now, Crusaders are up 1-0 in a surprising fashion over the undefeated Bench Boys.
Now, what do the Crusaders need to run, and what is their win condition here on this defense?
I think their win condition is if they can stall long enough on first point, because I personally think second point is a much easier point to defend. It really is a defender's advantage because you have that high ground to start off with. I think if you can hold this off for 3 minutes at least, you got a very good chance at being able to win the map on second point. Maybe they get into third point, you can hold them close. It looks like they are going to be running that really close hold aggressive brawl comp. But we are going to see the pharmacy come out from the attackers, which is a great counter usually. There's no direct counter except for Plortz, who I think is all the way in the back. So if he can hit a shot, that fire is going to be shot out of the sky. But if he misses, Pit-Pat's probably going to have a field there.
Yeah, a lot of pressure to take a pocketed fire out of the sky. It's a lot more difficult to just get that easy kill.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to see what's going to come through as the charge comes in.
Oh! And ready for it. Jumping over the Reinhardt. Clutch Caliber now caught on the other end of the wall. Is going to have to hold that shield and back himself out of that fight and allow for Plortz. Plortz, what are you doing? Asturgo and Jonathan both losing their lives there to Plortz on this Widowmaker, who has come out of nowhere really on this hit scan roll in this matchup and playing a lot of Tracer, but this Widowmaker's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think these two Widows, honestly, both of them have had very amazing plays, but a lot of the time in the pharmacy, taking out the Mercy is the way to win it, because once that fire doesn't have her pocket, she's kind of useless. So really good play by Plortz. Almost has the sights online, but is a little bit weak in the back.
Well, let's take a look at the ult economy. 88% to the nano boost for Misfit, 72 to that barrage, but Pit-Pat's going to the grave. Plortz is able to bring up the sights, but we really need McNewbie, Clutch Caliber, and Paper Monk to bring those ults online for Crusaders if they want to keep this defense alive. Hawk is able to find the kill onto Clutch Caliber at the very beginning, and a big anti-nade is going to force the retreat and the snowball.
Yeah, so here's where it gets really dangerous, because if you lose Plortz here, it's going to be basically such a hard stagger for them. You did kill about a minute 20 off the clock as they're going to roll around this first point. You need to re-engage quick. You need to re-engage fast. If you do it well enough, you might be able to get a third contest on this point, because right now, all we're seeing from Benchways is the Ana on the card. So this card's moving pretty dang slow as Plortz use the sights.
Ooh, a good speed boost comes out from Shinoda to get his team in position. There goes the Primal Rage popping out from Blackman to knock everybody around. Big anti-nade goes in, finds both tanks as they're going to get taken out by Hawk. And it's just a matter of seconds before Clutch Caliber gets taken out in the back line as well. Jonathan and Asturgo continuing to help their team here in the back line as the payload moves forward here on Havana.
I was talking about Misfit and running the Ana earlier on Oasis. Well, it is definitely paying it off now, because the last two fights have basically been won because of early bubbles and huge antis. But they do have time to recontest. They're going to have the mail. Will they use it? But the grab comes out with the barrage.
Pit-Pat, that's that. Able to find what they need. Bench Boys will continue.
Wow, what a great play. And you know, we were talking earlier about how they weren't really using ults quick enough, but that was super aggro and it worked dividends. They did have to give up a few ults there on that first point to get it through, but they still have the sights. They have the Mercy ult pretty close to a nano too, and right now it looks like we're seeing kind of the opposite. Crusaders have to be aggressive, but that's an aggressive shatter.
Aggressive shatter indeed, and that's going to start things off. McNewbie able to find the first kill onto Blackman as the Asturgo evens things up onto Plortz. They will be able to res their Winston and put him back into the fight. The Paper Monk has the Graviton that they need to secure this defense. The fight very much so in Crusaders territory. A big grab finds 3. The damage, however, is not there. They are able to take Jonathan out of the fight. But the damage coming in from Bench Boys is just a little bit too much. Nano boost at the end might be a little bit questionable. They had all the control there.
Yeah, and that May all using it really up close was probably not the play. Now they don't have that. They're going to switch to the Hanzo now, so double sniper probably to take this pharmacy out of the sky. They again have the chance with the recontest. They have the beat they could use aggressively as well as the call, but losing Plortz is not a good way to start.
Not at all, but a coalescence is good for Crusaders. They're able to push them back just a little bit farther. Buying a little bit of time for their respawns to get in. McNewbie proving that the Hanzo wasn't just for show. He's able to find the headshots with those arrows as Jonathan fights the dust. Hawk playing this corner very tightly, trying to stay alive, but McNewbie finding another kill. And this Hanzo pick now at 45% to the ultimate is exactly what Crusaders needed to jar Bench Boys out of their pattern.
Yeah, and right now they really need to focus down Asturgo as Asturgo takes out Clutch Caliber with the SMG shots. We're going to see a little sniper duel come out right now between McNewbie But the spawn right now with your monkey dead, this is the time that you really need to push on the side of bench boys. They have the grab, they almost have the barrage again. That combo worked out great for them. And they do have the beat on the side of Crusaders, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. That's so much damage you're going to be taking on the side of that barrage.
It's going to be a team effort if they're able to come out of this alive. There goes the fire in the hole. Grab coming out onto the high ground. They're able to find it. There goes the sound barrier, but it's still not enough to live through the barrage. They lose 2. They do not have the bodies to keep this payload from going further. They will be able to contest for a short period of time here. They do have Paper Monk on the point, but really, it's a fight to take time off of the clock.
Yeah, this is looking great for bench boys. They're going to have a much better time going into this 3rd point. Crusaders have had some defensive stops. They really needed to win that fight that they did win a fight or 2 ago, but now the spawns are a bit awkward for them. We see the tanks are all the way back and the squishies are all the way forward, and we're going to see the hog come out as well. We're going to see Pip-Pat swap off of that fire that's been so deadly onto the Tracer. They have the Nano and the Mercy ult, but we're seeing DPS ults and almost the Zarya on the side of Crusaders. Right now, it's anyone's game to win.
And Crusaders have proven already that they are not here just to, play it out and take the L. They want to walk away with the W, but they aren't walking away with their lives. Schtitle able to find that opening pick. And that Bob, although it will stall out a little bit of progression, not going to do what they need it to do. Instead, now jumping up onto the bridge and creating the space that's needed for bench boys to close the map.
Yeah, and this is looking really good for them. Although they don't have any ults right now, they do have a lot of momentum. But we are going to see the Grab Dragons probably come out during this fight. The question is, can they get enough people in it to make it worthwhile?
Oh, the real question is, can they get anybody on point to stop the payload? The kills are coming through as everyone's just trying to get there. Doesn't look like it's going to be a fortunate tale, as bench boys will be able to take Havana.
Yeah, goes 1-1, and that looks like a much different bench boys than we saw on Oasis. And statistically, the team that, I don't want to say worse, but the team that, may have less skill, quote unquote, is statistically higher to win on Koth, actually. So that's generally a team's best chance of winning if they are, the lower seed or don't have as much synergy and stuff like that. But Benchboys with their Pharah, it seems like nothing could stop them, which is shocking because Flirt's been so dominant on the hit scan.
I would really like to see a little bit more of a pop coming out from Gerbert. I feel like the nano boosts on both sides, I feel like, have been a little bit questionable in the last 2 matchups. And I think that, that targeting that can be a win or a lose situation in this kind of matchup.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to think about why you're using Nano in the situation. Are you using it to, get your monkey to engage? All right, well, if you're doing that, who's helping your Winston out? Because I think a lot of time we're seeing these Nanos come out on a Winston, and then they're just kind of all alone, and might get focused down a lot easier. Even with the damage reduction, it's still very killable. And then sometimes we see it come out on the Tracer, and I just don't think that's a great pick, because yes, Tracer is very squishy, and she's a high damage hero, so she can get in, it's very worthwhile, but you just need to put it on your tanks usually. I think that's the best call, and we saw it come out on the Tracer on the side of bench boys. Didn't work out, but it doesn't matter that it didn't work out because they still won the map, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Well, it looks like we're going to be going to the home of the Reinhardt Zarya composition. Probably one of the maps that, if I had to throw it out there, probably one of the most favorited maps in Overwatch. We are going to be going to King's Row, and we are going to be having a swap. It looks like High Quality is going to be popping out, and I believe, who was that just popped in? Paper Monk. Oh, sorry, Paper Monk is popping out. High Quality is coming back in. So going to King's Row, Paper Monk coming out, High Quality coming in. Do we think we see the D.Va come back?
I'm not sure if the D.Va is going to come back. I feel like Ryan D.Va isn't a great comp if that's what they want to run. Maybe they just feel more comfortable with High Quality on that off tank role. They kind of want to make sure everyone gets playtime, but I wouldn't say Paper Monk played badly at all, but I think you definitely noticed that when High Quality was in that, they were getting a lot of value, especially out of the bomb. So D.Va could still be forced here, just, not as good of a pick, I would say, right now in this current meta. I think if you are going to be running the D.Va, you might be running the Monkey. You might be even running the Hog instead of the Zarya. Sometimes instead of, we don't need bubbles if I can just eat all the nades and the sleeps and everything else that comes in.
Yeah, and that was one thing that we saw have a really large impact on that first map was the blizzard that got eaten. Was those defense matrices that got those big annonades completely out of the picture kind of deal. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to see high quality come back in. Kings Row, one of my favorite maps. If you had to pick your optimal composition for Kings Row, what would it be?
I think it would be kind of an older comp, but I think something that still works now. I'd say Ryan, Zarya, Reaper May, Lucia Moira. I think you just kind of run up on people and just smash them in the face. I think that even with, Hog being so, sturdy and like he just lives through about everything, you can kill everyone else. And honestly, Reaper is a great counter to Hog. I think they can kind of counter each other in a way. If the Hog hooks the Reaper, then Reaper might die there, but Reaper just does so much tank burst damage. He destroys Roadhog sometimes. So if the team is there, that Roadhog doesn't get any value.
Now I have to ask you the question that's on my mind, and hopefully on everybody at home's mind. Do we get the teleporting Bastion on top of the statue?
Oh, I love to see that strat. I ran it myself when I played in Tespa. You could say it's pretty cheese, but you do what you got to do to win.
Cheese is so good. Like everything
depends what kind of cheese.
You like bread? Put cheese on it. It's better. There you go. No, I really do kind of hope we see something cheesy or fun out of these teams.
You could always see maybe like a sim strat where it doesn't involve a Bastion. Sometimes you see the sim just gets them to the high ground just like really quickly. Kind of what you see sometimes on the control map where they just use it for the mobility and they swap off immediately. I don't know, honestly. I think it's really interesting. We've mostly seen dive comps come out so far, but we did see a little bit more brawl on Havana, or how do you say it again? Remind us, the viewers at home.
Havana.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Havana. It's a long A. Yeah.
But we are going to jump in.
Havana.
We're not going to be on Havana, unfortunately. We're going to be on Kings Row, which I agree, honestly, is a great map. I love it. Everyone else loves it. It's just really fun to play. It's really I completely agree. I think especially if you're the defenders, the one advantage you might have is right at that archway. I like to call that Kings Row 1.5 because especially if you're running like a May or something, you can kind of hold people there. I don't think we're going to see any Orisa from Clutch Caliber. I think that's a debate.
I don't think we're going to see any Orisa ever.
She's buried. She's gone.
She's been put back in the stables. We're working on making her walk faster. So when she's quicker, she'll come back. But currently, there's just really no place for her. But let's talk about this defensive composition a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see the Brawl come out. Basically what I said they should have, except they have the Hanzo, a little bit more long-range damage. Probably doesn't have the Orisa shield to block those snipers, and then they're going to swap you up. They are going to be running the dive again. So they're going to be running Plort still on the way to the Ashe. So this is going to be a very interesting comp. They really need to get value out of their tanks to make space. Swap again to the Tracer. They're going to have a lot of flankers, but the question is, can they burn down this Reinhardt?
They're going to try their best to do so. It looks like Florence is just going to kind of play around the hotel a little bit. Oh, the Mei wall now coming up to cut off the supports from the rest of the team. It's not going to do what they wanted, though. Astergo is able to find the opening kill on Florence with a beautifully shot arrow straight into the noggin. Bench Boys continue to hold the defense. They lose their Reinhardt as Florence is about to come back. He's now switched back to the Ashe. So a bit of a pick battle just going to continue to go here. Coalescence has been built up by Gerbert as now they initiate onto the point. Crusaders looking for a very, very big take here. Even though they may not have their main tank, he'll be back in the fight momentarily. Bench Boys going to go ahead and retreat just a little bit. They're waiting and biding their time until the perfect moment to come back and contest. They're able to come back with a big charge coming through, but the Mei wall doesn't go how it's supposed to. They were trying to hit the charge. They don't hit the charge, so they lose the Reinhardt. Misfit goes down next to Gerbert as High Quality gets that Diva Bomb online and ready. He's going to find a Sturgo in the backline as well as Flores gets Jonathan out of the fight completely. And even though Pit Pat is able to find themselves a kill and a Maywall on point, it is not going to be enough. Crusaders still looking like a mighty strong team.
Look at this ulping they built up, though. I mean, Bench Boys have basically everything online. The problem is that they got staggered out so badly at the end of that fight that they're not going to have any time to recontest by the time that this point gets through that archway. So, you know, they're going to have to play it out in street, so they kind of lose the defender's advantage that they did have. But they have so much to throw at the sink right now. They could use grab draggons. They could try to go for a shatter mail. Let's see what they use.
Well, they're able to get themselves back into an advantageous position for the corner. Diva Bomb goes up into the back line. Is going to find Misfit out. So that's going to be big. Graviton goes out onto the payload as well as the Shatter. The Shatter, however, not going to find anything. Florence still getting the kills they need. Clutch Caliber in the Primal Rage will take Flatman and help Astergo and Pit Pat find their way to the grave. And that's going to be Crusaders once again blazing a trail through the streets phase of Kings Road.
I know we made this joke already, but high quality really is high quality. These bombs sometimes have they should not be finding the value they are, and yet they do. Even getting one kill off of it is great, and now it's going to be easy street as they approach around the cap for second point. They do have Pit Pat's May ult, but if McNewbie tries to use the nope, that's not even a matter. They're not going to be able to touch in time. Just went a little bit too late.
Wow, and speaking of too late, too early, 5 minutes left on the time bank as this Blizzard tries to eat a little bit of that time up, but it's only going to eat the mech of high quality and Clutch Caliber's life. Hawk is going to find a kill as well, but the payload still moving a slight bit there. It will stop, they will get the defense, but 4 minutes and 45 seconds, probably 4.5 minutes by the time they get back for this next fight. That's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time, but this third point, time can dissipate pretty quickly, honestly, if you aren't careful with how you play this. They're gonna find the May out on the high ground. They have the EMP, they have got the ball, they've got the pull, and here's the EMP coming out now, a huge one.
Ooh, EMP finds all 6 members of Bench Boys. Clutch Caliber now, the gates have been thrown open, but Pit Pat gonna close that gate in his face. Clutch Caliber not able to survive through it all, but a sound barrier from Jonathan is gonna keep Bench Boys in the fight as Gerbert's Coalescence tries to get a couple of picks. McNewbie will be switching over to the Doomfist. No, the May on his way back as high quality continues to prove why he's on this team.
Yeah, and this fight might not be over. It looks like they might be trying to recontest it, and here's the Nano coming out onto Hawk. That could be a huge misplay if this bomb is massive, and it is going to find Jonathan.
And it is a big bomb. It almost got Hawk as well. If the Nano Boost hadn't been there, Hawk wouldn't be either. Shinoda able to find Pit Pat and put him into the hole as the Graviton comes out to try and even the scales by Hawk. But Hawk getting taken out from a long distance icicle shot by McNewbie as Clutch and Gerbert go ahead and find themselves a couple of kills. It's looking like Crusaders will be able to finish Kings Row with a wild time thing.
Oh, that was just an astounding attack. I mean, the first point was a little touch and go, but they took out Blackman, and from there it was just basically a roll. The only time that Bench Boys really had any sort of defense was on that third point after they had kind of C9'd the second point, and from there just high quality. My man, I think you've been watching some Poco, because those seem like some Poco bombs that I'm seeing right now.
It just seems like it doesn't matter where Bench Boys is, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah, and I mean, when you don't have the shields, they swap Blackman onto the Hogs, so you have no Rhine shield, you have no protection. You kind of have to always be aware of where your protection is around those corners, and you got to use natural cover. But that third point, kind of out in the open the way they were playing it, so no chance to hide, no chance for cover, and now we're going to see what Overwatch League has done a lot on the side of Crusaders. We're seeing a dive brawl. Maybe not.
I love this. If they bring this out, I'm gonna love this.
They are running the Ash to the Reaper, but yeah, I still like it, and it's working against the brawl. I mean, we're seeing a very standard brawl come out from Bench Boys, and it got pretty demolished, honestly. I mean, 3.5 minutes. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been like almost 5 minutes, but right now they need to get more value out of their tank line, because so far they're just sitting ducks.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the win condition here for Crusades, the way you're supposed to run this composition is Clutch and high quality make a lot of space, and if they try and take that space back, that's where McNewbie comes into it, and meanwhile, Plorts is just kind of having a field day in the back line, right?
Basically.
Well, let's see if Bench Boys agree with that plan, or if Crusaders are going to have to switch it up here. They are going to wait around the hotel. Around the statue goes Bench Boys and on to the point. They're going to find themselves a very, very aggressive positioning here as they push Crusaders back into the cubby by the hotel. But as a dive composition with the mobility that they've got and the Maywalls in their favor, they are going to be able to get the first kill on to Blackman. And high quality continuing to, like we said, be high quality. Another kill comes through for McNuvie onto Pitpat. And that's going to help tilt the scales into Crusaders' favor, as Hawk may find a couple of kills. Now a high-charge Zarya has been the bane of Crusaders' existence the entire time that these two teams have been matched up. Another kill there on to McNuvie, and a new breath of life into Bench Boys, as they will be able to take this first point off of the first fight.
Yeah, and we talk about high quality, but honestly, that was the Hawk show right there. I think they got 3 kills off of what was basically a soft reset. So a high charge Zarya is not anything you want to mess with. I think Pitpat is a really interesting choice here. You know, that Junkrat can get so much value, especially if you can melt the tanks down with just your primary fire. But if you're not and the Diva's eating all of it, could be a little bit of a waste of a pick. But right now, as the coal's coming out, both coals coming out, it's looking good for Bench Boys.
You can go ahead and call that a dual essence right there, as Gerbert and Misfit try and push their teams into the best position possible in what can be one of the hardest spots to get past in King's Row. Holding this corner, not able to make their way into King's Row 1.5, but a shatter comes through, but a bubble and a wall are there to save, but the Cat Tire is going to find 2 in a mech, and that's going to be 3 members of Crusaders now out of the fight as Bench Boys pretty much paved the way here through Street Space.
I mean, that's a good hold, honestly. Obviously, you don't win that fight, and if your Winston falls, it becomes much worse. But it looks like Clutch Caliber is not going to get out because of the Moira Orb. Oh my goodness, Skill Orb. Hello. And now, what looks like a very contestable point on point 2 for Crusaders might be completely turned around, because that spawn is going to take a little bit of time as they switch now to the Rhine.
Yeah, it looks like Crusaders kind of going ahead and taking that bullet, giving up the majority of the Streets phase. They do have to get back for this contest.
There are a lot of ults right now on the side of Crusaders. Hawk is the only one who knows an ult right now, and here's the bomb coming out early.
Oh, high quality, finding nothing there. This time the bomb not finding its target as the Blizzard as well. Only finds a couple of members. Maywall to mitigate damage while they're stuck in the Graviton from Hawk there. And a big shatter comes through. Blackman with the Fat Man shatter. Boom, bang, bang. Mystic gonna get the Coalescence to help him out, and Astergo gonna throw that Deadeye in just for good measure. Bench Boys really driving it home right now. They are not happy that Crusaders got a big time bank.
I think we just saw 10 ults being used in that fight, 5 by each side. Now we're gonna see the mirror composition come out on the side of Crusaders. A time bank starting them in the face right now. It's 4:46 and counting right now. Bench Boys making quick work of this. Crusaders need to have a good defense here right now, or they're going to be staring at a lesser time bank. But Pitpat does have that tire online, and that could be all that's needed by Bench Boys to push this forward.
Not to mention Hawk working very hard towards this new Graviton. But Plort's able to put a hole into that tire and give Pitpat a flat. Not able to find any kills. Looks like high quality now onto this Zarya, as Plortz finds the kill into Pitpat. Hawk on the clutch, and wow, a big answer back comes from Bench Boys as Hawk and Astergo continue to go through. And you know what? Hawk isn't carrying, he's just flying.
He is flying so high right now. Looks like there will be time to recontest, but right now, Crusaders, if you're losing these fights, you have to die on point. You're backing up, and this is what happens. You get grabbed, you might not be able to contest.
The bubble! Hawk blocked that entire shatter with the use of a single bubble. And now it's just a matter of getting at least 20 seconds off of the clock. Hawk and Astergo both finding themselves a couple of kills as Crusaders hang on with a thread. And a big shatter from Blackman to drive it all home. 7 seconds, Jag. 7 seconds between these two teams.
Well, we thought Crusaders were dominant, but honestly, Bench Boys looked so good on their attack as well. As you said, 7 seconds separating them. So, you know, not a lot of time, but it can make a world of a difference, especially in that first point if it comes down to, you know, that last second contest if you're trying to get just that first tick.
Yeah, you know, I hate it when you're about to get respawned. You've got like maybe a second left to get respawned, and then the overtime ticker gets hit, and now you're like, oh, well, let me wait another 5 seconds. Now I can't get back to point.
Yeah, it can be awful, and you know, And that's all it can take. It's just 7 seconds. You know, Crusaders gonna be on this attack first. You know, 2 minutes actually is a pretty good timing to be working with. You still have time to get maybe even 3 fights in if you die quick enough on those first 2. You can build ults up, and right now I think the biggest thing is the Reaper can work, but it just wasn't working with McNewbie. They've swapped Florets onto the Reaper now. They're gonna be running McNewbie on the Sombra and Moira Ana, a very interesting heal comp. Not gonna have that speed, but are gonna have a lot of heals and that anti.
You know, I am a huge fan of the Moira Ana combination. I think that combining the healing orb of Moira with the anti-nade, or with the nade in general from Ana, provides Moira with a lot of ult charge.
Yeah, absolutely. It really can work. They're going to swap this back to the Sombra, so just looking for a few shots, not going to find anything, and it looks like they're going to try to rotate through Hotel, probably get onto that tank line.
Oh, good. They're going through Hotel, but they don't see the Tracer behind. Pit Pat trying to get a little bit cheeky here. You see Misfit. Oh, Misfit needs to be careful. Almost getting found out there by McNewbie, and that would have been huge as the fight in the background goes huge. Florets able to find a couple on this Reaper that you were so fond of, now looking for the Tracer inside the library, the bookshop, if you will. Not able to find that kill. So it looks like we're going to have to see Crusaders go ahead and go back to spawn and take another stab at this attack.
Yeah, that was just not a great rotation, honestly. They forced the tanks off point, but they forced themselves into an awkward position. A lot of players kind of out of position, but that sleep on the Blackman, if they can get an anti here, it'd be huge.
Oh, they weren't able to get the anti-in, and a sleep comes in response. Clutch Caliber taking a bit of a rest there on the corner of the point. Now with better positioning, Crusaders come into this fight. McNewbie able to find Misfit at the very beginning, and that could be big if Jonathan's not able to get the res. He's got to pick, he's got to choose, but you can't do that from the grave. Astergo finds one from onto McNewbie, and that's going to be pretty much the only pick that we'll see Bench Boys walk away with. Pit Pat blinking around the point best he can, but this is going to be a Crusaders take.
Yeah, and they captive time, so they're gonna have about 30 seconds. It's gonna take a little bit of time to unlock, but you know, as they get to that archway, they probably will have time to contest if one of them dies quickly, if they can swap to a speedy hero. But this is gonna be an archway fight. No ults online except for Pit Pat's Pulse Swamp. Hawk not too far behind on that grab, and you know, if they can get that grab, it could be all done there with the Pulse Bomb combo.
All she wrote, that's what they're looking for. They want to close this out as soon as possible. There goes the big hammer down. Bench Boys now laying on the ground, not where you want to be found, but a Graviton comes out from high quality. That's going to find a lot there. Hawk's Graviton, sorry, not high quality. He's able to even the scales, and a Death Blossom from Florets, able to find 2. McNewbie helping out, and there's a Bob around the corner, but it's not going to do enough. The payload's going to continue, but we're in overtime on Streets phase, ladies and gentlemen. Crusaders cannot leave the payload.
Yeah, but Bench Boys used everything they had in the tank there and still weren't able to win that fight. Now you've got high qualities grab with the, you know, you could use the Cole, honestly. It's not a super high damage ult, but if you can get everyone in one place using it, it can work really, really well.
Big moment right now for Crusaders, crucial for the Crusaders, if you will, for them to be able to at least get near this next point. High quality is going to commit that Graviton. The Coalescence is going to go into it as well. They're looking to take the tank out of the equation. Blackman, Jonathan both going down, and that's going to be a good start. 2v4 for the high charge Zarya and Hawk. No, Hawk gets taken out by high quality, the higher quality Zarya in this matchup, and what a game. Crusaders continuing to get a 5 points. They're 2 points ahead of them now, and they are setting a pace which is going to be hard to match.
Yeah, McNewbie taking out Astergo also at the end of that fight. Very close to another EMP. Right now, still nothing really online on either side. Bench Boys are close to another Pulse Bomb as well as a Shatter, but it's going to be touch and go here. Blackman going to get hacked out as well as Anti, so they're going to have to back up. They're going to get a lot of free push on this card because of that.
Oh, a lot of free push indeed. They've made the first 2 corners without any contest. Looks like a sleep dart out there. The big hack. Nope, not as big as they wanted. They were only able to find 2 with that hack, but it doesn't matter. It was the 2 that they needed. Blackman no longer in the fight. His Shatter no longer gonna matter as the payload continues to push towards the final point. Mere meters away. The Pulse Bomb comes out from Pit Pat. He grabs 2, and that's gonna be big. Bob's not going to be able to do anything because the round is complete.
You know, I'm not exactly sure what happened with the Nano there. I think they might have died as they were sitting it out, so they didn't actually hit their target, but that pick on the Ana was huge for Bench Boys. Able to stop the cart right before the cap, but what an amazing push by Crusaders. I mean, that first attack on the first point, on the second attack that they've done, you know, so many attacks at this point, it's hard to even keep track of all of them. But basically, the first time they tried on their, you know, extra rounds did not go super well, but they were able to play the objective with that Reaper, able to like use that Nano Blossom at the archway and just push all the way through. So right now, Crusaders didn't have that extra 7 seconds, didn't matter because they're in a great position to win, but don't count Bench Boys out just yet.
Yeah, I'm not going to count Bench Boys out, but I will say the Crusaders have put themselves in a mighty strong position. Win condition is known, and that puts pressure on the attacking team.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to see what these comps come out as. We're going to see, again, the Hanzo come out from Astrago, and you know, you really need to get that Grab Dragon combo on point to really justify using it. I mean, if you can hit shots, you can hit those headshots, doesn't even matter. Hanzo's got a great one-shot potential because his arrows are like logs at people's heads sometimes, but we're going to see the exact same comp come out for Crusaders that they did so well with on their tech, and I think they might have the advantage right now.
Now, my question is, do you use that Grab Dragon to take the point, or do you try and save it to make sure you don't get stopped in the streets phase?
I'm not sure, but as the hacks come out on the
oh
boards,
man,
it's going to be
getting
very hard
bullied,
for them.
but he's able to get away by a fraction. His main tank, Clutch Caliber, coming in and putting enough pressure to allow for him to get out of the fight effectively. Asterga will take the first kill onto McNewbie. So now in a 5v6, Crusaders needs to be very careful at how they manage their utility, how they use their cooldowns, but a good sleep on a Blatman will buy them a little bit of time. But Hawk in a high charge is going to take out high quality, and that's the last thing you want is Zarya to go down in a situation like this. At this point, it really is. You can test for a little bit longer. You've got to take this time bank down. They will not gain any more time.
Yeah, and they're going to back out and again just... They're losing fights and they're playing scared, and it's costing them a huge amount. They could have probably stalled off another 10-20 seconds, and every second counts in extra rounds. I mean, it's only a minute on the clock right now for Bench Boys, so realistically, if you can save your ults and win one fight, that's all you need to do. You need to get Bench Boys to use ults on the side of Crusaders, but if you keep playing scared and giving up so much space, it's going to be over before it even begins for you.
Well, very aggressive offensive push coming through from Bench Boys. They thoroughly understand how the second phase of King's Row works. Once again, getting that early pick onto one of the members of Crusaders, forcing them to play a little bit more gingerly around this corner.
Yeah, but Jonathan's been hacked on the point. The question is, can McNewbie take them out? Looks like they're not going to be able to as the team rotates, but they are going to stall it out. So now only 20 seconds on the clock. That's what you need to do. You need to play the objective and kill as much time as possible. And now, the Shatter.
You know, they find the Shatter, but not much coming out from it, so they go ahead and use the Graviton with the Dragons just to make sure that their point is driven home. 6 seconds left. They will be forced into overtime by the time they get to this second point. So now it is really just up to Crusaders. If they have all the ultimates they need, Bench Boys has nothing.
Yeah, Jonathan close to that beat, but that's it. Pipette actually does have the EMP, so if they can hit the EMP first, that might be huge. You saw Pipette just throw the translocator up, almost got found out by the other.
Oh no.
Tower is going to be found out. But right now, they need to be aggressive on the side of Crusaders. They need to throw everything that they have. They need to win this fight right here as it's overtime.
The win condition is there. There comes the big EMP. It's going to find all 6 of the Crusaders. And this is the story that Bench Boys want to write as they continue to find the kills that they need. Another big hack from Pit Pat on the Clutch Caliber and higher quality. A sleep dart on the Pit Pat, but it's really just a minimal effort kind of thing at this point. Crusaders need to be able to mount a defense. They have 6 ultimates. There is no excuse.
Yeah, they're going to run around the EMP early. That's going to come out first. The grab going to be thrown in. Everything going to be thrown in. Is it enough?
Oh, the first 2 kills are going to go in favor of Crusaders. Chinoti able to find another, and only 2 members of Bench Boys left alive. Pit Pat on top of the star, but he's not going to be able to get down to contest. Crusaders take another map.
Crusaders now at match point, and wow, what an exciting and fun series going down to the wire there on King's Row. I know you're hyped. I'm pretty hyped, but I'm just a little bit more monotone, so don't hear it as much in my voice. But, I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do. In the end, they gave up more space than I would have liked them to, but Crusaders just saved up their alt bank to the very end, through everything, were able to touch. That's all you need at the end of the day. You know your win condition, and they were able to meet it, but Hawk, oh my goodness, 50 high energy kills, 50 eliminations. Wow, that's insane.
if this wasn't a wall, I'd be backing up further. Like, that's absolutely insane. And I just want to say right now, underdog story, man. We're getting it right here. Crusaders. They may not be the top of the standings, but they are the top of the leaderboard right now, and they have just been bringing everything to the table.
Absolutely, but honestly, I would not be surprised if this went to a map 5. Bench Boys, that was just a matter of inches at the very end, and I think that they pinched a little bit on that second point cap. They kind of used too much, probably, honestly. If you have, a little bit better fight planning, like we have to keep at least like some things. They did have the EMP, which helped them get through a little bit, but wasn't enough to get them to that very end point. So I think they can bounce back. I think they can take this to a map 5, go to another control, but Crusaders definitely looking very good. And honestly, this is the kind of play you need as you gear towards playoffs.
Well, as my handy dandy post-it says, we're going into Assault. So it's going to be either Volskaya, Hanamura, and Anubis. And if you ask me, I hate all of these maps.
Just rip it up.
I hate
burn
Assault.
it.
I'm not a fan of Assault. But it does look like we're going to be taking a quick break, about a 5-minute break. So if you need to get coffee, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to grab yourself another drink or another bowl of popcorn, because this one's been a nail biter, go ahead and do that now. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to be right back. And we're back. Oh, they almost got the spin. It wasn't the full spin. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our barn burner of a match. I am Schtitle 24. That beautiful face right there is JAG. And we are watching the Bench Boys and the Crusaders face off in what is a surprising 2-1 in favor of the Crusaders.
Yeah, and we're gonna be going to Hanamura, which is gonna be a very exciting map. But before we get to where we are now, let's talk a little bit what's happened so far. As you said, Crusaders up 2-1, a bit of an upset. The Bench Boys coming into this had never lost a map, so I'm sure they're a bit disappointed about that, but they're still in this series. They were able to get a win on Havana. Right now, it was a very close match, honestly, on King's Row, so I could see this map going either way. This was the Bench Boys pick, so they're looking to get back into this for some map 5.
And let's take a look at this defense coming out right now. I believe we still have teams on the same sides. Yes, we do. Bench Boys are going to be coming out with the Roadhog Zarya. No shield for the first choke at Hanamura.
And also, Hawk and Pitpat have swapped positions, so we're going to see Hawk actually on DPS. Been so deadly on that Zarya, and Pitpat now going on to the Zarya itself. So, very interesting swap. Let's see if it pays off. They are going to be running the Echo. Very high risk, high reward. We're going to see the Sombra get demeched, and here is going to be the teleport come in.
Teleport onto point, tried and true way of going at it, but Hawk able to find the first kill. Stergo grinding the second, and can you say prepared? Because that's what that push is spelled like.
Yeah, almost got the first tick, but not quite able to. And, I'm honestly very surprised that the Crusaders are trying to run the Sombra here, because I feel like it's not a great pick. Yeah, you just don't have enough damage if you're going to run the sim, but they're going to swap off the sim, so now it doesn't matter. Running a more tried and true comp that they've been running. Still sticking with the Moira Ana, which worked out when they were running, what they were running on King's Row, but let's see if they can break through this defense.
Looks like Schtitle going to go ahead and go over to that Mercy. They recognize how important that revive is, and a very aggressive push gets met by an anti-nade, making Clutch Caliber completely retreat and leave high quality there almost alone. McNewbie trying to get something done on the Sombra, does have the EMP ready, but there's not a lot of value in it right now, as Clutch Caliber can barely stay alive here at the point, and they will lose high quality.
As you said, they do have the EMP, but also very quickly being built by Bench Boys. They almost have everything online, and right now they are going to finally the Nano Hawk's not going to be too far behind, about to get that Echo ult, and here's a huge hook from Blackman.
That's going to continue that stall. We've only got 2.5 minutes left, and we really haven't seen an effective push come out of Crusaders. They have been able to build themselves up some ultimates, but that's about it.
Here's the EMP now.
Yeah, that EMP from McNewbie gonna try and get things started, but Pitpat finding the kill almost immediately, and a nano boosted high charge Zarya can beat the brick wall that stops it all. As they try and throw that Graviton out, it will successfully land into the choke. Oh, Blackman hitting Mick high quality with that hook. Oh man, Crusaders right now really not able to find anything.
Yeah, but the good news is that the only thing that's left now on the side of Bench Boys is that Bob. They used 5 ults in that fight, and now we're seeing the ults being built up on the side of Crusaders. Gonna have the Valkyrie, gonna have the bomb a little bit behind everything else, and definitely have the Primal. So this might be a battle of the Bobs right here.
Let's see which Bob is gonna do something better. Flatman still holding very strongly at this choke. There goes the initial Bob and the hook. Able to find the Winston. He's going to go ahead and jump into the Primal Rage. Clutch Caliber trying to stay alive. Blackman, the first casualty of the battle. Bob's not able to find anything. Astergo going to throw their Bob into the fight as well. Clutch Caliber finding another kill, but Hawk and Jonathan evening things up. Flores takes Jonathan out after the res on a Blackman, but Pitpat gonna find Chinote. Neither team with a Mercy now. Bench Boys have no supports on the point. Astergo's Bob was able to find Gerber into the battle, but the bodies are in favor of Crusaders, and I think this point is gonna be theirs.
And again, high quality, only finding one pick of the bomb, but that's all you need. The bubble and the heal being used on the Hog, and still wasn't able to survive after all that was used. So now 3:40 on the clock. Not a great time for Crusaders to take the second point. Statistically, this would be their best chance right now after they take the first point. All they have is the Valkyrie though, so not a lot to be working with right now.
Interesting to see Clutch Caliber stick to this Hammond.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're still on it. I thought they might swap. I thought it might just be contest, but they might be just trying to run people around, but that's a hook that's out of the way already.
Yeah, they were able to get a little bit of high ground control, but that kind of faded away pretty quickly. High Quality was able to get Hawk out of the fight, but Jonathan gonna bring that Ashe right back in.
I just really just stupidly thinking, bring that Ashe here. I think you know like what the reference is, but that Ashe not being found out, and I think the ball running in isn't a bad play, but the problem is that they can't capitalize. They got Hawk, and then there was no follow up. The res is easily done, and now ults are kind of built up on both sides. They have the now you don't need ults when you can get picks like that.
Well, there you go. Trying to get into the back line to disrupt the Widowmaker, but Astergo able to go back into spawn. Oh no, a sleeping Hammond on point. Let sleeping hamsters lie. The Graviton on high is gonna find one and the D-suit as well. Shinoda is trying to get something done, but is not able to hit Pat at such a high charge. Hammond goes on to the point, and I think this is just building ults right now.
Yeah, and Gerber committed the Nano on to Clutch Caliber, and I was really surprised. You don't really see a Nano Hammond that much unless it's a last-second contest, and now they are going to swap. He actually was really close to Mines, but I think they decided this isn't working. Let's just swap before it's too late. Now, less than 2 minutes. The sights are online for Astrago, so they have a good idea of where they might be going as both snipers on the side of Bench Boys, just trying to do some more damage, and that is a lot of damage to get the headshot on the Sombra.
Yikes! Not really much you can do there. McNewbie gonna have to be coming back. Looks like Shinoda gonna go ahead and commit the resurrect, but Florets get taken out by Astergo. You're back into the Astergo, stop! Have mercy, dear Widow. Astergo finding every head of the Crusaders team. Bench Boys right now really showing themselves to be that undefeated squad. This is the Bench Boys we've been waiting to see.
Yeah, and again, another switch gonna come out, so now they have the Rhine. They need that shield to protect their squishies, because right now, it's just a field day for Astrago, and it doesn't even matter if they have the shield.
Oh!
Stop it! They have families!
Oh man, this is a rough thing to watch. Astergo single-handedly delaying this push from Crusaders. Bench Boys feeling very comfortable where they are. They still have ultimates that will be majorly impactful. And what? Astergo! We said stop! Shinoda gonna get taken out as well. Pitpat finding a kill there, and with 3 people down, Crusaders have to go not only back to the drawing board, but they have to go back to spawn once again to collect their teammates.
These fights are over before they begin because they get the demech, they get the pick. I mean, Bench Boys are winning this before they even actually get through the choke of second point. But also kind of even on both sides now, so this is winnable. This is last fight, so they need someone to touch. Probably going to send the Sombra in onto the point. If they can force them onto the point and get a big bomb, we've seen High Quality do it time and time again, is able to find the value picks, but here's the Bob being used first on point.
Yeah, why send the Sombra in when you can just send your ultimate in? Bob, however, will go ahead and go to sleep, and we'll have Bob v. Bob. Looks like Flatman going to be able to find 2 with that whole hog, and that spells doom for the Crusaders. They are able to find a couple of picks here as the Nano boost onto Clutch Caliber opens things up as a self-destruct onto point, finds 2! High Quality, changing the stakes and tipping everything back into the Crusaders' favor. Bench Boys trying to answer back with Flatman and Astergo both finding kills, but High Quality has the presence on the point, has to find a kill onto Hawk. Pitpat comes back and gets the grab, and that's that! Not able to keep this contest up. They still have a couple of members on, but it's really just the Lucio as Jonathan reses in the face of Shinote.
And you get 40% on the point, so honestly, not terrible, but definitely not great. Honestly, this attack looks much flatter from Crusaders than we've seen so far this series. I just don't think they were really prepared maybe for the swaps that came through on Bench Boys' line between, the DPS and the tanks, and the Bench Boys looked pretty solid there. Their defense was pretty good, even though you give up 40%. That's still very winnable for you. All you gotta do is get a little bit more than 1 tick, just close to 2. The question is, what will happen on this first point? Because that first point attack really sets up what happens on second point. As we saw, Crusaders struggled a good amount. It took some really big hero plays for them to even get through and get that full cap on first point. And then second point, they just stalled out over and over and over. Astergo just really stepping up now.
Yeah. That's the kind of Widowmaker play that we've been kind of wanting out of Astergo all day. He's been able to kind of show pepperings of those beautiful headshots, but I mean, he took what, 30, almost 45 seconds off of the clock single-handedly.
There's a play at one point where I think they had killed the Sombra, and then they rezzed on the side of Crusaders.
They rezzed the Sombra,
and then they got the Ashe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, it's like, all right, you know what? I'll do, I'll trade you. You can get the summer back, but I take the next one.
And then like 10 seconds later, he got the headshot onto Chinote and got the mercy.
Yeah, exactly. So, Astergo just doing amazing things. Hawk, honestly, doing amazing as well on the DPS role. Was doing really well in Sombra, so not surprised they're doing well on the damage hero. But right now, can Bench Boys tie up the series and take it to a map 5?
Well, a strong shield defense is in their way, but they're going to go with a bit of a mobile, bubbly composition. I'll go ahead and call it that one. The Colby Calais, if you will. Going to have themselves a bit of a talk. They're trying to find the one person they want to really initiate onto, and it's going to be Gerber. They go for the Ana. Down to 0 health. Flatman will be able to find that opening pick, and now in a 5v4, Hawk finding the other support. Crusaders not in a very strong position at this moment, but they'll take Astergo with them as Clutch Caliber on this able to do what he needs to do. Flatman finds himself a couple of kills as Hawk and Jonathan really just equalized it all out and put themselves into an even more advantageous position.
That was a really risky res by Chinote, and it did not pay off. Once you lose the Mercy, that fight is lost completely. That point is lost completely. And look at the time they're going to have. 2 minutes plus more than Crusaders had, and they have almost Hawk's ult up. It's really hard to build an Echo ult up. Honestly, one of the more expensive ones, especially for DPS. So Hawk kind of demolishing on this Echo right now. It's not looking so great for Crusaders.
But the tide can always change.
They can, and with that anti, they're going to be settled out a little bit, but still in this attack.
They push on to this high ground. Crusaders does have the advantage with the Mei and the double shields. It's just going to be a lot with the nano boosted Winston into your backline. They're going to use the Mei to stop any healing from coming in from that Ana. Anti-nade goes out onto Flatman. He's half health, but a couple of members of Crusaders have already fallen. This puts us into a very precarious situation as Crusaders try to even the scales with the res on the Clutch Caliber, but 2 more members fall. The point being taken so quickly. Sigma going to go ahead and commit that ult there, but it's not going to be enough on the high ground. You've got to touch the point. Bench Boys put us to 2-2.
Yeah, I thought the ball was going to be the touch, but I think the angle wasn't right, so they had to try to readjust, and in the end, like I said, forcing that map 5, I mean, I don't want to call myself the prediction king, but kind of called it there. It's just been a battle of 2 teams, this looks very decisive in Bench Boys' favor. Maybe that swap of Hawk and Pip-Pat is what they need to really take this series over, but regardless of how this ends, Crusaders should feel pretty good about themselves about taking it all this way, but they don't want to go home with just the participation trophy. They want to go down with the W.
And, they have already done something that no team this season has been able to do. They took not 1, but 2 maps here off of Bench Boys. So they're really putting the Bench Boys medal to the test. I commend them for that as we go into our map 5, and we'll get some information on what that's going to be in just a moment. But
I believe it'll be either Busan or Ilios. So
because we're just pulling from from the.
I believe it's just from the
map
control
we already have,
yeah,
right?
Exactly, I believe so. So
Busan or Ilios, pretty different, map compositions on those 2 maps.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what point you're looking at, I feel like Ilios is very boop heavy because you've got Well, obviously, where you're just trying to get everyone in the middle of that point. But then even on Lighthouse, you can boop pretty well. Ruins, I mean, not as much. That becomes more of a Widow battle, but
a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
And fun there.
We are going to Ilios, so don't even have to talk about Busan. It isn't important. It doesn't exist.
All right, so now that we're talking about Ilios, Crusaders, if you're able to get anything but Ruins, I think that's your play. Because if we do go to Ruins, I think that when it comes to Astergo versus Plorts, Astergo, that last map, he really just came to life. I think that he would, like you said, have a field day on the Ruins.
I mean, this has been a matchup we've seen all match, and we've seen Plort and Astergo kind of get the best of it at different points. I think you saw that on Havana. You saw Astergo get it by the end, but Plort's got it more on King's Row. Obviously not running the Widow as much, but using the Reaper, was able to win that battle. So the hit skins have really been at each other's throats this game. I wouldn't count Plorts out of this just yet. I think that Astergo just had a really good positioning for most of that, especially on, Hanamura, which we just saw. I think also the Mercy Pocket doesn't hurt at all, so they're really putting a lot of resources into Astergo to make sure they lived, were getting those picks, and they were. So I think Astergo definitely has at least the mental edge in this right now, because once you dominate a team like that, and let's be honest, Astergo kind of single-handedly dominated the entirety of Crusaders on Crusaders attack and on the Bench Boys defense. So you
Win
got to be feeling
condition
pretty
on
confident.
Hanamura was Astergo.
Yeah, just click heads, and that's your win condition.
Well, as we go into Ilios, we're going to start to see the Lucio, and we haven't really gotten too much of a chance to see the Lucios from this team. I believe we've seen Jonathan and Chinote both play the Lucio so far. Any opinions on which team is going to have that superior Lucio action coming into Ilios?
I honestly feel like they've been pretty equal in terms of how it is. I mean, we literally started this game on Oasis with both of them getting a boop kill like right after each other. I really think it comes down to who can build beat quicker, and I think generally we've seen Jonathan do it a little bit better, and that might be playstyle. I think Jonathan might be a little bit more like Free Frog, where he's kind of jumping all over the place, where Cody might be playing a little bit more passive, more like trying to enable his team and playing with the main tank. I mean, Lucio, really the value is you're getting out of it is just the aura as well as, his ult. But with this on Ilios, it could be like just a haven for both of them. It could be just boop kill after boop kill after boop kill. I'm not really sure who's going to win this battle, but I definitely think it's something to look out for.
Well, I'm still putting all of my eggs in the Crusaders basket. I think that underdog story is going to ring true. I think they're going to take this win today and push themselves a little bit further up that leaderboard.
Yeah. Well, so far it's been, Crusaders winning, then Bench was winning. So Crusaders, by that, order, should win this next map.
If the pattern holds.
Yeah.
If the pattern holds. But looks like surprises have been a thing today. I mean, coming into this, talking just on paper, me and you both were kind of like, well, all Crusaders is really going to be able to do here is kind of fight for a map. No, they've come into this guns blazing, comps ready, and have been able to take. They haven't only been able to take 2 maps. The 2 maps that Bench Boys did get were not given to them.
I don't know. I'd say Hanamura might have been given to them a little bit, honestly.
Maybe
Villa. I think that's probably where the Crusaders looked the worst. They kind of fell flat, and that can be a big demotivator. But you kind of got to be like, hey, like this is our map pick. We've done so well. We already won the other control. Let's not forget that they won the control that was the pick of Bench Boys, and they won that 2-0-2, so pretty decisively. So you got to bounce back from that pretty devastating loss on Hanamura, because this is it. This is for all the marbles. It's basically 0-0. We're starting over. This is Ilios. This is for the win.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to look at our ugly mugs for too much longer. We're going to go straight on into Ilios now, straight on into the action as Bench Boys and Crusaders fight in this last battle of Week 4 here at Owlet. I am so excited. I'm literally shaking in the boots I'm not wearing.
This is my first time casting here, and man, what a match to be a part of. I mean, we kind of expected it might be a bit of a steamroll, and like you said, anything but. So exciting, so close most maps. I mean, that King's Row, I was like jittering in my chair until the last moment, and it's all going to come down to this. I hope it goes 2-1. I really want to see it go 99-99. I want to see them fight their hearts out. I want this to go all the way. Let's do it. I'm hyped.
Let's get ready to... Oh, wait. Copyright. Can't. Hold on. Almost got a little carried away there. Sorry about that, guys, but we are so ready to get this going. Only 8 seconds until these teams go head-to-head, and look at these compositions. We're seeing exactly what we saw. The Winston Diva versus the Winston Zarya.
And I want to point out still that Pit-Pat is on that Zarya, so they decided to keep Hawk on that Echo. Honestly, that Echo was super great. We were talking about Astergo a lot, but that Echo was pretty devastating. Was able to find a lot of elims with the E, but here's the hack coming out as well as a Nancy.
The big anti-nade. But Crusaders doesn't care. They're going to throw that Moira Orb in there anyway. Find the first kill on the Blackman, but there will be a res waiting for him with Jonathan. At this point, it's up to the DPS to find themselves an opening, and Crusaders getting mighty low on health will allow High Quality to get that opening kill. once again, High Quality proving why he's on this Crusaders team to bring them to the top, as the first point's going to be taking over. I don't think we're going to see a contest. No, Crusaders will be able to get that first take. The fight, however, not over.
Yeah, it's so important to get that first take, but we saw it on Oasis where the first take wasn't enough. It is going to be a 66 as we get back to this. Torts is really close to that pulse bomb, so a huge pulse could end this fight before it starts, but a huge dynamite might give the advantage over to Bench Boys.
Yeah, and talk about big dynamite. Astergo now going to have that Bob online for the next fight. Is able to get a couple of good headshots. Throws the Bob out, but Bob, where are you going? No! Oh, Bob taking a dive off of the edge as Gerber gets one with the coalescence onto Hawk, and Bench Boys really having a bit of a fumble here as they open up this map. Misfit trying to get the things going for his team with that anti-nade onto High Quality, and it's gonna get that ball rolling. Pitpat, Blackman, both finding themselves a couple of kills as Astergo continues to pepper in shots from this high ground. I think Bench Boys will be able to take this point, but not before the Crusaders can get it to 50.
Torts was so close to clutching that out. Hit a huge pulse bomb on to Jonathan, and guess what? It gets canceled out by Pitpat's bubble, and from there you saw Bench Boys just able to roll back through, and they only use one ult there. We saw so many ults come up from Crusaders, and right now Bench Boys in a great position even though they didn't get the first cap.
You're gonna see Bench Boys completely abandon the point here in order to take the fight, but Crusaders get it back over in their favor. So even though there's a bunch of kills going on for Bench Boys, the ticker's going up for Crusaders. They're still able to find all the kills that they need, and they're gonna switch it back, but another 12% on the board for Crusaders.
Not a very high quality bomb there from High Quality. Got killed before, was able to remake, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if you're gonna lose a fight, you might as well lose it getting more point percentage. That could be a huge difference maker later on. We're gonna see Primal almost online. They have the EMP, they have the beat, but Hawk has that copy, has been so good. It doesn't even matter when, again, Astergo just taking this fight into their hands.
And there you go. There goes Blackman abandoning the point for the dive as McNewbie gets the opening kill, or the secondary kill, onto Hawk. Graviton will come out. Bob is ready from Astergo as he's able to use that coach gun to delay the Winston pouncing onto himself. High Quality does find the kill into Pitpat. Clutch Caliber finds one on the Misfit now. Up 3 bodies. High Quality able to find the Mercy as well. Crusaders looking to blaze their way into another map win here. Looking to get the point, but a Bob is just the one thing that they have to deal with. As far as bodies and fights go, they're up on both.
Yeah, and you know, now that extra time that they got, even in that losing fight, now they're up and ahead, and this could be last fight territory. Able to hold on to the EMP, and right now all they have is Hawk's copy. They have the Moira Essence as well on the side of Crusaders, so despite their best efforts, Bench Boys might be going down 1-0 on this map.
Ooh, I've got myself sitting at the edge of my seat if I wasn't standing, and as they initiate in, the big hack comes through, finds 2. It's gonna get the main tank line out of the way. Blackman falling, Pitpat soon to follow. Hawk is the echo, but very close. Gets able to get the EMP off and finds the majority of Crusaders in it. High Quality, however, still able to pull off that self-destruct, calm his team down, and clear out the courtyard. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Crusaders put themselves a single point away from taking the first game off of Bench Boys' record.
Bench Boys, just that flip point made such a difference in the end. I mean, think about it. They would still be playing out this round right now. They'd have another time to contest. They wouldn't have had to throw ults willy-nilly and kind of hope that something hits. And right now, Crusaders, 1 map point away from taking a series that they were the huge underdogs. Well, not huge, but you know, they were the underdogs regardless. You know, 3rd seed versus 1st seed, and that would be huge.
You're going up against the undefeated giant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've taken 2 maps off of them. Why not take a 3rd? Why not really seal the deal? Make them 7-1. And here we go again. Very similar comps, except we are gonna see a Farah from Hawk, but no Mercy to pocket him.
Oh nope, Jonathan is he's gonna switch over there.
There it is.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. No real Farah counter for Crusaders. Going to be a lot of pressure on High Quality to deal with this airborne threat.
You kind of ignore the Farah if you can get the kills on the ground, but right now, Clutch Caliber falling really, really low.
It's not the start that you want. Hawk has been able to find every rocket they've needed. 52% already to that barrage as Blackman finds the opening kill onto Chinote. That's going to be 2 there for Bench Boys as Crusaders is able to take care of that Farah and get a kill onto the Mercy, but the bodies are still not there. They've almost got control of the point, but this time, Bench Boys is paying attention.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be once again flipped. McNewbie trying their best, but in the end, they are going to cap it on the side of bench boys. And still, no real counter except maybe the Diva. If they can hack the far out of the sky, that's just kind of useless, but McNewbie's not going to be hacking anyone because they're back in spawn.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty direct way to say goodbye to the Sombra. And with this rocket in the skies and nothing to deal with it, it's starting to be a gloom and doom situation for the Crusaders. They do not have the luxury to not give the respect to Hawk on this Pharah.
They're going to get that pick, though, onto Astrago. That might be the go button they need right now, unless Astrago gets rezzed.
Able to find that opening kill, and now also diving in onto the Winston. Looks like a Coalescence going out, the Nano Boost as well onto Blackman to keep him alive, but a boop into the hole. Is able to jump himself out of that well, very close to dying. Clutch Caliber as well now, using that Primal Rage to get Misfit out of the fight. The kills are there, Crusaders is winning. They just have to switch the point back into their favor and deal with Hawk on the Pharah. Hacked and not able to fly, Hawk goes down, and the point will go to Crusaders.
Yeah, but they're still killing a lot of time, and they got a lot of ults out, so bench boys honestly should be pretty good. 60% on the point and counting. Gonna get a little bit more, 63 at the end of it. They still have their barrage grab combo that we saw very much on Havana, and every time they got it, it was huge. The question is, if you're McNewbie, do you just try to counter that with the EMP, try to get the far out of the sky? It's very high risk, high reward. You do have the Diva to eat the damage, maybe even eat the grab, but high quality has to make some, I'm not going to say. They just have to make good plays. They really have to make good plays right now with that eat.
They do indeed, and they've done it before. There's no reason why they can't do it again. The Diva Bomb going through into the alley. Is it going to find one? It will find one! It gets pit-pat. No grab available for the bench boys coming into the next fight as a big EMP takes Hawk and Jonathan out of the sky. It's the chance Crusaders need at 34% to even the scales and push it up to the 60% and further. They need to win the match.
Yeah, and I mean, they still have some pearls on the side of Crusaders, so pretty good, quick fight. We're able to use the bomb and the EMP, and again, high quality, just finding that one pick. That's all they need sometimes. But now, Flort's kind of in no man's lane, is going to be able to get out just in the nick of time. We're going to see the Murrah get back right before the fight starts. Again, that grab far all, and the grab's not going to get anyone.
No. The grab got no one, and Hawk almost committed the barrage, but a smart player saves their ult. McNewbie is able to find a kill. Hawk now looking for a chance to get the barrage, but immediately faced with high quality's defense matrix. Is able to find Gerbert there, but a lot of his team has already bit the bullet, and is not going to be able to change the name of the game, and this is not his chance right now. Point still in favor of Crusaders, 75%, only 25% left to build up for them to take home a win of the season, one to be proud of. Forts does have the pulse bomb available.
High quality having to get out by the skin of their teeth. Clutch Caliber has the ult right now. The pulse bomb going to be thrown, not going to find anything. So right now all they have is the primal, but that might be all they need. They just need to boot them off the point. And here's the Nano coming in on the other monkey.
Blackman now, Nanodon has the Primal Rage available to himself as well. Clutch Caliber does have the Primal Rage, but he got anti for the majority of it, so he's super low on health. Bench boys need to be up on bodies if they want the point back. Crusaders falling down by 2 as Hawk begins to be a beacon of light for bench boys, finding the first 2 kills. Pit Pat finding the third there, and they're in such good positioning as they desuit the Diva. There's really not much to worry about. But at 99%, JAG, at 99%, Crusaders only need a fight.
Yeah, McNewbie's very close to another EMP at 84% right now. We're going to see Jonathan and Hawk have their ults online. Right now, I think it's really going to be, can high quality again eat this? And you know, they did eat the barrage, but I was surprised. If you're a Diva, you want to fly up in that Pharah's face. The damage will splash off, it will kill her. And here is the early Valkyrie.
Oh, an early Valkyrie comes out from Jonathan. Hawk looking for the positioning to get that barrage off, to find value from it, as McNewbie takes Blackman out of the fight. The self-destruct goes out from high quality. There's an EMP and no deaths come from that big bomb. Astergo is able to find high quality outside of the mech, and a big pick comes out. There goes the barrage finding 2, and this is bench boys trying to fight back and fake it to the last map. Looks like they're going to be able to do so as well. Hawk still patrolling the skies and killing the Crusaders team.
This is really close. I mean, right now it's a 2v2, the Tracer and the Diva. Now it's a 3v2.
Oh, 3v2 indeed, but the Hammond pick is going to be able to bring them back into the fight. No ults on board for either team, but Astergo dangerously close to a pulse bomb. Pitpat will be able to find the opening kill in a high quality, and still the kills come rolling in for bench boys as they continue to find what they need. Astergo and the rest of the team going to be able to secure this point and switch it back over. We might get, what, one more fight?
I don't even know if they'll be able to touch, honestly. Yeah, we're going to see Clutch Caliber get blown up, but they are going to touch of High Quality's Hammond. The beat going to come out as well. Is going to keep High Quality alive. I don't think it actually hit High Quality. I think it missed.
Missed him by just a fraction there. Clutch Caliber coming back into the fight from spawn at 82%. If he's able to get onto the point, he will be able to stall it out further, but the damage is just unsurmountable at this point from Bench Boys. Crusaders really not able to find themselves a foothold, a trench to dig into, as Bench Boys has already dug it out.
And we're going the distance. We are going to Ruins, and I think the play that really sunk the Crusaders game there is they got a huge EMP, but they weren't able to get the pharmacy out of the sky. Hawk was able to stay alive, able to get that barrage off, and from there, it was just a stagger. You know, they had 8 seconds left. It was at 92, so they kind of had some time to try to get a recontest, but instead they tried to throw everything they had while they still had control of the point, and in the end, it wasn't worth it. So now we're going to see Aster go back on this Widow. No Widow on the side of Crusaders right now. They're going to be running the same comp they've been running this entire time. Let's see if it pays off.
Hawk onto the Genji. We're going to be seeing Nano Blades?
Yeah.
Nano Blades, question mark?
They have the beat, but that's not as good as a trance, honestly, when it comes to a Nano Blade.
Let's see what they're able to bring into the equation. First to the point will be Crusaders. They do have the Lucio, so they'll be able to speed in a little bit better. They have the positioning they need. The question is, are they going to be able to shut down Astergo on the Widow? As the fight now goes into the first ramp. First control, the point has unlocked. They've got to dance in and out, but first control majorly going over to Crusaders. They're going to be able to take it right off the bat as Gerbert gets the first kill on the Blackman. Pit Pat trying to do something from the side here, but Astergo really getting zoned out by this diva play from High Quality. Gerbert will be able to take Pit Pat after Pit Pat gets Florence, but that's really just an even trade that the Crusaders don't have to be worried about right now.
Yeah, and Florence is going to get back a lot faster than Pit Pat is. But you got to be really careful because right now you're kind of playing at a weird angle. You're playing behind a little bit of natural cover, but you want to make sure that Genji doesn't slice and dice you too much. But it doesn't matter because Hawk is dead.
Man, which player looks better in green? Looks like it's Shinode on the Lucio. Hawk not able to get anything out of that. Has to ask Jonathan for a little bit of help to get him back into the fight.
Look how close they are to the Nano Blade, though.
Well, that Nano Blade is a terrifying combination. Misfit has it. Goes ahead and gives it to Hawk. Looking for the dash. 94%. 95 now has the Dragon Blade. Gonna go ahead and commit it now, but at 10 health, he's almost out, and he is taken out by Gerbert's Coalescence. That's the play that they needed. And with that Primal Rage coming out from Clutch Caliber, Crusaders will be able to push back this fight from Bench Boys. And wow, take the Nano Blade, take the positioning, take the fight. What a play.
Yeah, Shinode used the beat and lost. It wasn't able to get it off. It doesn't matter. Gerbert's Colt able to keep the team alive. We're very close to an EMP, but Hawk able to win the 1v1 on Tracer. So now, honestly, this fight is getting very, very dicey for both teams.
71% in building for Crusaders. They have the ult bank that they need to defend the point, but Blackman's gonna get an early D-suit onto High Quality. Hawk with a kill on a Clutch Caliber, and now the fight is in Beach Boys' favor. It's really theirs to take. Trying to get this to 99%, but the kill feed, Mighty Green.
I think there was a clause requested by High Quality. We're going to get at the very end. Yeah. It looks like High Quality might have lagged out there at the end because I think they had the bomb online, but instead they just kind of ran into a corner. Not exactly sure what happened there, but very unlucky because they touched a little bit too late. But 86% right now on the point for Crusaders.
Just trying to figure out what happened here, but it looks like we are going to be getting the players back in just a moment. I'm happy this happened. I needed a moment to catch my breath. Crusaders right now are merely 14% away from taking this match.
They have the EMP, but there are a lot of ults right now on the side of Bench Boys. They have both tank ults. They have almost the Widow sights. They have the Valkyrie. So the point just flipped over. Realistically, you can take a drive fight or two, not force it. Get ults out and then come back. Because again, it's all about knowing your win condition. You win this next fight, it's basically over. I don't think there's really anything that you can do to come back on the side of Bench Boys. But if you throw ults out on the side of Crusaders and don't get picks, you're just resetting your ult economy, and that's not a good thing. Now High Quality is going to take a dip off the edge, going to go for a nice little swim.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard reset for Crusaders. You have the unfortunate thing of, being lagged out there by high quality. Thankfully, he did not disconnect.
Yeah,
So
'cause they
he
have
does
bomb.
still have the bomb ready, yeah.
Site's gonna be used early, so probably no chance for an EMP as they know where that Sombra is. Probably doesn't have to wait it out as more and more time ticks away. They still have 3 other ults. Hawk gonna have the pulse on, might try to look for an early pick with that.
High quality looking for the hungry D.Va here. There goes the Graviton, looking for the Tracer, has the defense matrix out, is able to get it! Oh! Hawk got jebaited. McNuby finds the kill into Blackman, and this is the perfect setup that they need. Pit Pack goes out of the fight with a big bomb. Gerbert's Coalescence finds Misfits. They are able to raise Blackman, who does have that primal rage, but still, so many members of Bench Boys have been taken out, and so many members of Crusaders are still on the point. Plortz has that pulse bomb at the ready, and McNuby still has that EMP sitting in his pocket. All they have to do is mitigate these respawns, get that Blackman out of the fight. Now a Lucio and a D.Va, the only things they have to deal with to flip this back over in their favor, and look at the poise and positioning. Clutch Caliber, Plortz, McNuby, Chinote, all saving ultimates. Well, Plortz used his, but the rest saving their ultimates for this fight to drive this home.
Yeah, all they need is a good EMP and probably Clutch Caliber and knock some people around, and this should be GG, but it's not over until it's over. We know the saying, never be too surprised, but here is the first touch, and Misfit gonna fall.
And an EMP comes out from McNuby, but he's only able to find Blackman, who will fall. Plortz and Clutch Caliber are both able to find the opening kills. The res tries to come through, and it's gonna be at the price of Jonathan's life. Blackman has to do something big with this res. High quality with the big bomb into the middle, taking Blackman out of the fight, and Crusaders now have what they need. The road is paved with orange as they're moving their way into finding the first match, off of Bench Boys. They get it, they grab it, 3-2 Crusaders.
It went the distance. It was beautiful. It was everything I'd ever hoped and dreamed for an Overwatch match to be, and wow, I mean, yeah, it sucks to lose a match like that when you come back from the brink, but honestly, just all around, what amazing play. The gambit of switching Pitpat and Hawk looked like it might work, but that eat, I mean, high quality is definitely my MVP of the match. Just from the bombs to the huge plays that we saw at the very end, that eat was everything. That pulse bomb not connecting on the grav, that enabled them, and here we are with Crusaders winning against the previously undefeated Bench Boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, and I know that hurt for Bench Boys, so I have them a first aid kit here. If they need anything, you can DM me. I'll send you some band-aids.
Should give them some aloe for that burn too.
Some ibuprofen, whatever you need. But congratulations, Crusaders, Bench Boys. You've done good all season. But you're starting to slip it up. Don't slip up next week. And speaking of MVP, I agree with you on the high quality almost.
Ooh.
Misfit, unspoken hero. We didn't really say the name too much throughout the match, but the anti-nades that came out of Bench Boys throughout this interaction were absolutely crucial, and I think they did lead a big part into how strong and how aggressive Bench Boys were able to play. And I really like that as an anime myself. I do like looking at the supports a little more than the people getting the flashy kill feed kills. So I think it goes over to Diana. You think it goes over to high quality. We want to know what you guys think. So pipe up in chat, tweet us out on Twitter and everything, who you think the MVP of the match is. But Jag, give us a breakdown. What did Crusaders do on that map that led to them winning? How come they were able to topple the mighty Bench Boys?
They waited for a pick, and I think that was crucial. I think their plan was like, hey, they throw ults out, and if we die, we die. It's fine. We've got time on the clock. We regroup. We go for it. But when that pulse on was eaten, and then they got a pick immediately after that, that was the go switch. That was, all right, we're going full throttle. They throw the bomb over the top, is able to find one, and although it was a little bit, kind of all over the place from there, it's hard to clean up a fight when there's so many mobile heroes. They were able to save the EMP until the last second, and even though they lost the Sombra after the EMP, able to clean up, and from there, they just played patiently, and they played smart. They didn't do the same on well, which is why they lost it. I think they got a little impatient with that recontest, but they learned from that lesson very quickly, and they were just the better team at the end of the day today.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's your high quality analysis there. I'm not really going to add anything because, like I said, you're going to find me in your Gold Q games. But thank you so much ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for tonight's Owlet match. I have been Schtitle24. This has been Jag, and we're going to go to a short break before we come back with a quick interview. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our post-game interview. Schtitle24 joined by Jag with our special guests, High Quality and McNewbie, a couple of stellar stars. Go ahead and say hello, guys.
What's up?
Hello, hello.
There's those beautiful voices. So, Jag, I heard you had some questions for them.
Oh boy, do I got some great questions for you guys, and either of you can take either of them, honestly. Start off, going into this match, Bench Boys were not only undefeated, but had never lost a map. So take me through what it was like after you won Oasis. I mean, what was it like, the feeling on your team?
I'll take this one. So we went into it, obviously expecting a big uphill battle, right? Because haven't lost a map yet. So after winning Oasis, I feel like we celebrated winning just one map harder than we celebrated, winning any other game that we had prior. Like we'd won games, we're like, yeah, like it was, good atmosphere, excited, but like, some of us were like screaming, some people got out of chairs, like it was a rush.
I can imagine. I mean, it's always great when you can just take one map. One thing we talked about was we just thought, hey, it'd be a huge victory if they just took one map off going into playoffs, but taking the whole series, that's huge. So congrats once again. I've got to ask about Hanamura. So you guys struggled a bit on Hanamura, especially on your attack, and you kind of got rolled through on defense. What happened there?
You want to take that one, Quality?
Yeah, I got this one. We had a scrim yesterday against Tempest, actually, and we were trying out new strats because, what we've been doing recently, I don't want to say hasn't been working, but it's not as working as good as what we'd like it to. So we tried a new strat out yesterday against Tempest, which it worked then, so we thought we'd give it a shot, and just seems like we got a bad read on it. So
yeah. Then that was absolutely dominating on the Widow. Once we capped first point, it was just that was a stagger fest. That was rough. There was a little bit, I think it was also a little bit of mentality issue with how frustrating it was to just constantly get picked. I walked around the corner forgetting that he had sights up, even though I have the big detected on my screen. I get picked, Then it's next the healer gets picked, and then it just wasn't working. We finally get to point, and half of us die before we even get there. It was just, I think it was one, we got in our heads a little bit too much. I think we were riding too much of a high.
Well, you guys did bounce back though for this last map. So even though you might have been a little mentally boomed from what happened on Hanamura, it definitely did not look like it on Ilios. This is my last question. This is for High Quality, who was my pick for MVP on this series. And the key play for me wasn't the bombs, which yes, were huge. It was that pulse bomb eat in the grab on the last point. So I gotta ask, was that just luck or were you looking for it?
I mean, in my brain, I figured that because I've actually done ringings for bench boys before in scrims because I'm friends with the guys. They're all cool. Yeah. And I know that whenever they use grab, they're always really methodical and they're like, okay, we're not just going to grab for the sake of grabbing. I knew that there was a purpose to it. So I looked at whatever ults they, or thought about whatever else they would have. And I just guessed really that they had a pulse bomb there. And as you could probably see there, I was kind of swinging around my matrix a little bit because if I could be completely honest, I had no clue where the tracer was. I knew it was coming, just I wasn't sure from where. But I mean, hey, if it has a hitbox the size of freaking Nimbani, then bound to eat something, I guess.
Yep, and you know, you knew it was coming, and maybe just a little bit of luck in there. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That's all the questions I have. You got any for them?
I've got less of a question, more of an opportunity. Each of you get one thing to say to bench boys, whether that's you choose it to be trash talk or a good game. What do you guys got?
I don't want to throw any shade. I think it was a phenomenal game. You know, heart racing. Yeah, heart rate. My heart was going the whole time. You know, everybody was a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion. You know, just I think it was a good game, well fought. It was probably one of the best games I've played.
Yeah, kind of jumping off of what McNewbie said, I'm not gonna diss any of bench boys. I'm friends with all the guys. They're all really cool, and this series is about as tight as it could have been. So I'm excited, and I hope we run into them again in playoffs.
And there you have it, folks. A wholesome view from our winners today, the Crusaders. And thank you so much, guys, for coming in for this interview, High Quality and McNewbie. To everybody at home, I just want you to remember a couple of things as we get going here. Stay safe, don't be toxic, and have a wonderful evening.